The story opens with King Furukawa standing in a battlefield soaked in blood. His sword drips red, the sky burns crimson, and the world trembles under his overwhelming power. Dozens lie dead at his feet, and even warplanes bombard the city behind him, yet Furukawa sits on his throne, claiming himself the strongest king alive. But in the middle of this destruction, everything suddenly goes dark. Furukawa sinks into the deep void until a child's voice calls out to him. A golden light bursts open, and he awakens reborn as a baby in a completely new world. Two strangers stand before him, smiling warmly. The man introduces himself as Reynolds, and the woman as Alice, his new parents. Furukawa, the legendary king, is now trapped inside a helpless infant's body, unable to fight, unable to speak, forced to start life from zero. Days pass, and Makoto Furukawa's new name slowly realizes this world is filled with magic, mana, and powerful warriors. He watches his father summon energy strong enough to shatter boulders, and his mother heal wounds with glowing magic. For someone who once ruled a kingdom through force, this world feels both terrifying and exciting. Makoto studies everything around him. Even as a toddler, he observes weapons, magic, and people with the mindset of a king. And one day, while secretly practicing mana control in the library, he accidentally releases a huge burst of energy so strong that it blows apart the room. His parents rush in, terrified, only to find their 3-year-old child floating in the air, wrapped in pure mana. For the first time, Makoto realizes something he never had in his past life: parents who would risk everything to protect him. And that overwhelming warmth makes him cry for the first time. Now we dive into King Furukawa's past life. A captured man begs Furukawa to spare his wife and child, but Furukawa executes them without hesitation. No mercy, no emotion. And just like that, we return to Makoto's new life. Makoto trains with his father, Reynolds. Even at 4 years old, Makoto refuses heavy gloves and picks up a wooden sword instead. When Reynolds shows a mana technique, Makoto copies it, instantly breaking his father's weapon in one strike. His talent shocks everyone. Reynolds wants to hire a teacher, Alice refuses, and their argument only ends when Makoto calmly tells them to go together. They call him a genius, which honestly, he is. Soon the caravan arrives, including Adam, Jasmine, Helen, Angela, and Durden. Their journey barely begins before a pack of wolves attacks. Jasmine steps forward and slaughters them effortlessly, proving her insane power. The rest of the party joins in earth magic, wind blades, arrows. Makoto watches everything, absorbing knowledge, but danger keeps rising. At night, Alice struggles to breathe. Reynolds discovers a wound. Alice uses her rare healing magic, something so valuable that people kill healers to steal their abilities. This is why they've been hiding. Adam later tests Makoto in a duel. Makoto boosts his speed with mana, shocking the entire group before Jasmine saves him from falling. She immediately demands, "Teach me how you did that," refusing to take no for an answer. The next day, training continues: spear basics, archery, and combat footwork. Jasmine even gifts Makoto a dagger with a hidden wire for his birthday, something that genuinely softens him. But peace ends quickly. Bandits ambush the caravan, arrows fly. The party fights hard, but their numbers are overwhelming. Reynolds is hurt. Alice collapses because she's pregnant. Before Makoto can react, Reynolds tells him, "Protect your mother. I trust you, big brother." Makoto activates his mana and escapes with Alice, but a mage on a cliff launches a deadly spell. Makoto senses it and pushes Alice away, getting hit himself. Falling into the abyss, Makoto throws Jasmine's wire dagger upward, pulling the mage down with him. Darkness surrounds him, something massive approaches, and a deep voice says, "Good morning, Makoto." Face to face with a massive, terrifying female beast, he panics and attacks, but she easily blocks him and knocks him back with just 2 fingers. Instead of killing him, she calmly tells him he still has a long way to go and calls herself his colleague, which completely confuses him. She then gathers glowing fruits from a tree, makes him eat, and lets him know the truth he's dying to hear. She can't leave this place, but she has checked from afar and his parents are alive and safe. Hearing that, Makoto finally breaks down in tears of relief and thanks her. She tells him her name, Sylvia. Days pass. Makoto's injuries heal, but he can't leave yet. Sylvia explains that they're near the edge of the Elshire Forest, a region full of mana beasts and bandits, and opening a dimensional rift to send him home needs preparation. Until then, he has only one job: get stronger. Makoto trains non-stop with a wooden stick and mana cultivation. Sylvia shows him a different way to use mana, not just gathering and then spending it, but letting it flow naturally like breathing. She asks what he wants power for. At first, his mind goes straight to revenge on anyone who tries to take his family away, and she rejects that answer, warning him that filling his heart with death and hatred will only turn him into a monster again. When she asks a second time, he finally gives the right answer. He wants power to protect the people he loves. This time, she accepts. But their time together is almost over. A powerful male dragon-like being tracks Sylvia down, following the scent of her blood. Just as he arrives at the cave, Sylvia suddenly shoves Makoto into a crack in the rocks, and his mana barrier keeps him safe and hidden. Outside, the two titans clash. The enemy demands Sylvia return with him. She refuses. Their battle shakes the entire area. Sylvia forces out her true, shining form and uses a terrifying magic that can even freeze time for a moment. In that frozen instant, she calls Makoto to her, reveals that she is a dragon, opens a portal, and gives him 3 gifts: a mysterious egg, one of her feathers to wrap it with, and a special power that appears as glowing tattoos on both his hands. She asks what he'll do with the strength she shared, and he repeats that he will protect the ones he loves. He also tells her that he doesn't care if she's a dragon or a monster to him. She's family. When he calls her his grandmother, Sylvia is so happy she can't even speak for a moment. Even so, she doesn't go with him. She pushes Makoto into the portal while he cries and begs her to come along. The portal drags him away as he clutches the egg wrapped in her feather. Time resumes, and the male dragon's final attack slams into Sylvia. Fatally wounded, she uses one last, suicidal blast that wipes out both him and a huge part of the area. Somewhere far away, Makoto reappears outside with the egg in his bag, tears streaming down his face as he remembers his dragon grandmother's sacrifice and blessing. Just when he pulls himself together and gets ready to move, he hears footsteps behind him, turns around. Makoto hearing a blood-curdling scream in the forest. Channeling mana to his legs, he races through the trees, leaping to find the source. He discovers a group of slave traders holding a terrified elf girl. They are planning to sell her for a high price. Makoto is furious, but remembers Sylvia's lesson: control your rage. Makoto decides to act. After observing them set up camp, he uses nearby hunting dogs as a distraction. When a bandit brutally kicks a dog to silence it, Makoto snaps. He creates a sharp mana blade and swiftly eliminates the first 2 bandits in silent, lethal takedowns. The third bandit, the powerful mage captain, realizes a child magician is behind the attack. The captain prepares his attack, calling Makoto a valuable golden ticket. The resulting fight is brutal. Makoto is hit with a devastating kick, badly injuring him. But in desperation, Makoto instinctively condenses his mana and unleashes flames of power he didn't know he possessed. This burns and defeats the captain. Makoto finishes him, then the final bandit. Ending the threat, Makoto rushes to the slave carriage. He removes the elf girl's blindfold and is stunned by her appearance. Her name is Tesha Iralith. Tesha is frightened, but Makoto reassures her that the bad guys are gone. Seeing her vulnerability, and reflecting on his loneliness as Grey, Makoto agrees to guide Tesha home. They begin their journey. They share a meal. Tesha finds Makoto's plain boiled meat disgusting, a subtle reminder of their differing worlds. Makoto notes her childlike behavior, like being delighted by forest fireflies, and realizes she is a mirror for him to learn how to be a child again. Their bond grows, despite Makoto having a severe stomach ache after eating mushrooms Tesha suggested. Finally, they reach the elven border. Tesha interacts with an ancient tree, revealing a hidden teleportation gate. They step through, but immediately Makoto is surrounded and captured by the elven army. Makoto is shocked. Tesha stands there innocently, confirming he walked straight into a trap. Host voiceover, what just happened? Did Tesha betray Arthur? Or is there more to this trap? Hit like and subscribe to find out in the next recap. Sayonara. Makoto is captured by the elves, and their leader questions why a human even dared to enter their lands. Makoto, still forced to his knees, notices something strange. Tesha stands there emotionless, almost unaware of the danger around her. He remembers the past, when she shyly asked if she could call him a friend. Thinking about that moment, Makoto realizes how easily he trusted her innocence and lowered his guard. Meanwhile, the elves accuse Makoto of manipulating Tesha. They believe he brainwashed her, calling humans cruel and dangerous. Tesha snaps out of her shock and defends Arthur, telling everyone that he saved her life. The tension rises until a powerful elder arrives through a teleportation array and orders the soldiers to release Makoto. The elder introduces himself as Virian Iralith, former king of Elenoir and Tesha's grandfather. Makoto is shocked to learn that Tesha is actually a princess. Soon after, her parents arrive too, creating an emotional reunion. Tesha rushes into their arms, while Makoto silently realizes he has been traveling with royalty the entire time. The king is suspicious of Makoto at first, but after hearing the truth about the slave traders who kidnapped Tesha, he finally accepts that Makoto protected her. Makoto humbly requests permission to return home, and although elves dislike humans, the king agrees to send soldiers to escort him back. But the teleportation gate only opens once every 7 years, meaning Makoto must stay in Elenoir for a long time later. Makoto struggles with a strange pain growing inside his chest. Even while exploring the beautiful elven city with Tesha, the pain keeps returning. That night, Tesha comforts him and reminds him that his parents would still be proud of him. Their moment becomes warm and sincere under the glow of magical fireflies. Suddenly, Elder Virian tests Makoto with a surprise attack. Makoto reacts instantly with mana-infused movements, proving his strength. Impressed, Virian offers to train him personally. Makoto hesitates, but the elder hints that training with him might be the only way to survive the mysterious power awakening inside Makoto's body. Makoto trapped in a strange place, struggling to breathe as a sharp pain spreads across his chest. The pressure becomes unbearable until a burst of dark energy suddenly escapes from inside him. The moment it leaves his body, the pain stops, but what appears next shocks him. A twisted, monster-like form made of his own energy appears before him, smiling in a frightening way as it approaches. Makoto tells himself it must be an illusion, but the closer it gets, the more intense the pain becomes. Just then, he hears Tesha calling his name, and the nightmare ends. Makoto wakes up to find Tesha sitting way too close, scolding him for calling her a monster. She reminds him that her grandfather is waiting and that he needs to get ready. Their usual teasing continues, but she warns him again not to call her princess. Soon after, Makoto heads outside where Elder Virian prepares to take him on a new journey. The elves argue that humans cannot live in Elenoir, but Virian insists Makoto saved Tesha's life, and he has potential. Tesha also defends him, forcing her father to stay quiet. Makoto, Tesha, and Virian then leave in a carriage. Tesha eventually falls asleep on Makoto's shoulder, while Virian explains that she grew up surrounded by pressure, betrayal, and loneliness. Seeing her smile with Makoto gives the old king hope. After a long trip, they reach the home of Virian's mysterious friend, a powerful magician named Rinia. She agrees to perform a ritual that allows Makoto to communicate with his parents. Through her magic, Makoto is able to see them, hear them, and finally tell them he's still alive. His parents break down in relief as he shares his message. He's safe, but his body needs healing. He promises he will return. The emotional connection fades, and Makoto, overwhelmed, wipes his tears and requests to become Virian's disciple. Back in Elenoir, Tesha argues with her family until they finally accept Makoto staying for training. The king and queen even apologize to Makoto and welcome him warmly. Later, Tesha drags Makoto through the kingdom, showing him the markets and food stalls. He accidentally bumps into an arrogant elf noble, who mocks him for being human. Makoto responds with unexpected confidence, and the boy challenges him to a duel. The match lasts only seconds. Makoto knocks him out with a single punch, shocking the entire crowd. Time passes, and Makoto begins intense training under Virian. He grows stronger, faces painful challenges, and pushes himself beyond his limits. Years later, both Makoto and Tesha have grown up. Tesha wakes him with magic. Early in the morning, Virian leaves the castle for an important meeting. Makoto watches him carefully, but Tesha distracts him with breakfast she proudly prepared. Their training starts soon after, and Makoto and Tesha spar under Virian's supervision. Virian explains the basics of mana and elemental affinities. Elves usually excel in wind, water, and earth, while humans can adapt to all four elements. He also reveals the truth behind Makoto's recurring pain. A beast will has fused with his mana core, disturbing its balance. To stabilize it, Virian begins a risky process to awaken the beast power inside Makoto. As soon as Virian injects mana into Makoto's core, a violent surge explodes from within. A dragon-shaped mark appears on Makoto's chest, and he loses control of his energy. The blast throws both Virian and Tesha back, and Makoto collapses unconscious. Hours later, he wakes up in the castle, only to learn that his beast will came from a dragon, a secret powerful enough to attract disaster if revealed. Virian then gives Makoto unexpected news. A cultural exchange program will open the teleportation gate in 4 months, allowing Makoto to finally return home much earlier than expected. Tesha, however, is heartbroken when she learns he will be leaving soon. That night, Makoto's mysterious egg finally hatches. A small dragon emerges, forms a contract with him, and speaks to him telepathically. Makoto names the baby dragon Sylvie in honor of Sylvia. By morning, Tesha discovers Sylvie and instantly falls in love with the tiny creature. Virian is shocked but accepts that Sylvie is a rare mana beast born from Makoto's awakened power. He begins new training, pushing Makoto with high-level aura pressure and sharp movement techniques. Days pass, and Makoto grows stronger while adjusting to life with his new companion. Finally, the day arrives for Makoto to return home. Virian gives him a compass marked with the royal seal, a gift to guide him back if he ever chooses to return. As the teleportation gate opens, Tesha runs to Makoto in tears. He hugs her and promises he will miss her. Makoto steps into the gate and returns to his homeland, remembering how Elenoir changed his life. He arrived as an outsider but left with strength, mentorship, and a new friend by his side, Sylvie. While Makoto finally returns home after years away. At first, his parents can't believe it's really him, but the moment they recognize him, his mother bursts into tears and welcomes him back. His little sister Ellen repeats his name with curiosity, and Makoto realizes she is the baby his mother was protecting during the bandit attack. Alice checks on him, worried about the illness he mentioned earlier. Makoto reassures her that the elves treated him, and he has fully recovered. He tells his family only the safer parts of his journey, hiding the truth about Sylvia for their protection. When they notice Sylvie, Makoto explains that he found her in a mana beast's cave and decided to take care of her. Everyone is shocked but accepts her quickly. Rylan, his father, proudly asks about Makoto's mana core stage, and Makoto reveals he has reached light red. Even the guests visiting their home are amazed that he advanced so quickly at such a young age. Later, Makoto faces his father in a friendly sparring match. Rylan pushes him hard, using flames and physical strength, while Makoto responds with controlled mana and quick movement. As the fight heats up, Makoto shifts through different elements: lightning, fire, and water, leaving everyone stunned. Even Rylan admits Makoto has learned techniques far beyond his age. After the duel, the visiting noble family discusses Arthur's future and suggests sending him to Xyrus Academy, the most prestigious magic institution. Makoto respectfully turns down the idea for now, wanting more time with his family after being away for so long. That evening, Makoto spends time with their guests. Lilia takes him around the estate, and the servants explain how much pressure she carries because her parents want her to awaken as a mage. Makoto quietly understands her struggle. Later that night, his mother expresses how grateful she is to have her son back, and Makoto gives her a gentle goodnight kiss, something she had been waiting for since the day he disappeared. The next morning, the Twin Horns party arrives to see him. Angela crushes him in a tight hug. Durden proudly greets him, and Jasmine breaks down in tears, apologizing for the past. Makoto realizes how much these people mean to him, The group talks about their travels, commissions, and the places they visited. Makoto listens, thinking about how little he knows about the wider world and how becoming an adventurer may help him learn more. Scene shifts, and Makoto is training alone, freezing time for a moment before collapsing from exhaustion. Sylvie shows up, reminding him why he needs to get stronger. Since Sylvie smells terrible, Makoto bathes her, then gets dragged by the family to clean up as well. He steps out looking completely refreshed, surprising everyone. The group then tours the city, buys clothes, and explores the streets. But trouble appears when Xyrus Academy bullies throw things at Makoto and mock him. Lilia later slips away to a beast core shop, hoping it will help her awaken magic. Makoto follows and warns her it won't work. The same bullies corner her again, activating flames, but Mistress arrives and scares them off with the Hischa name. Back home, Lilia breaks down, thinking her parents prefer Makoto because she can't awaken. She runs off, leaving a letter promising she will become a mage someday. When she returns crying, her parents comfort her, telling her she doesn't need magic to be loved. Makoto then reveals he can help her awaken. During the ritual, Lilia finally sees glowing monolights forming inside her, the first sign of awakening. The whole house celebrates,